Hey guys, welcome to Space Cadettes. Hi, my name is Shanice. This is Bean, and this is Jenna. And we're going to talk about some nerdy goodness as usual. I guess the first topic is upcoming books in 2022 that we're really looking forward to. Jenna, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So the book that I'm like the most excited about was supposed to come out in 2021, but due to shipping issues is now going to be part of 2022, and it's the new Stray Dogs storyline. I'm so excited. It's by Image. They wrapped up the first story arc really nicely. Like, this has to be, Stray Dogs has to be my favorite book of the year of last year. And I didn't think they were going to do, I almost took it off my pull list because I didn't think they were going to do a second story arc. Did either of you guys read the first one?
I did.
No.
Yeah. So you kind of get it. So Bean, did you remember seeing it?
I mean, you've shown it to me, but like I said, I have not read it yet because I don't want the dogs to be sad.
Okay.
And so that's like a big detractor for me. Like, I've got to be really emotionally stable before I read it.
Yeah, I would definitely, especially once you get to issue 4 where you're just like, yeah. I held on to my puppy dog so hard, and I think I cried for at least an hour, a half hour to an hour. But then the next book came out and it fixed it and it made it better. So it was still, you'll get to, if you get the trade, you can get this full storyline, so you won't have to wait a whole month of sadness. So, okay, for anybody who hasn't read it, it's Stray Dogs by Image. We'll throw a picture up somewhere. I think what threw everybody off about this book is the art style that it's in. Mm-hmm. It's a very sort of like Disney classic, kind of like Oliver and Company or like 101 Dalmatians like style drawing. And it's about a serial killer who likes dogs. So what he does is he goes to a dog park with a dog, and then if he likes that dog, he will follow that person home, kill them, and take the dog. And it's all done from the dog's perspective. And dogs remember differently than humans, right?
Yeah.
So the dogs at first don't remember their owners, but then he also keeps the serial killer keeps a little trophy. He has a whole room full of just like a hat or a shoe or like a scarf. And the first dog that comes in, I think it was called Fifi, who's a Papillon, and she finds a scarf.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this was my owner's scarf. I remember now. And then she remembers seeing her owner being killed.
Oh, no.
And that's the first issue. That's just the first issue.
Yeah.
And then from there, one of them is a 3-legged Dalmatian whose owner was a firefighter. He was actually rescued from a fire. And then he goes up to the phone, like something triggers him, and he remembers. He's like, if we press this button, people will come to help because that's what my lady did. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's really good. There's one really, really old, I think it was either a basset hound or a hound that I think has been there since the beginning. And it's just like, wow. He defends his owner hardcore, just being like, no, y'all were abandoned and he picked you up. And then you find his backstory. You're just like, oh. So Yeah, they wrapped it up in a nice, pretty bow in the comic. So the fact that they're doing a second one, ooh, I can't wait to read it. And what they do with this one is A cover will be a regular A cover, but then B cover will be like a horror movie cover. So I think they did for the first one, the horror movie cover was Dracula. The second one was 28 Days Later. And they do things where it's like 28 Dogs Later or something like that.
Yeah.
The third one, I think, was The Craft. The fourth one was Audition. And I don't remember what the fifth one is. Oh, gosh, I wish I could remember. But, like, it's really cool to see them just sort of, like, lean into that horror genre. But even though they're, like, their style is very... It should be for kids, but it's not.
Yeah.
Nay.
And this new series, because we were talking about it the other day, it is only going to be 2 issues.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do know about it, because like we were talking about it and we were like, I don't know how many it's going to be, but it's only 2. So like whatever arc they're doing is like...
I don't know.
Brief.
I hope it's going to be... So here's my prediction, and I'm probably going to be super wrong. We'll revisit this later when it's all done. I think it's going to be a side storyline about one of the dogs during the main story. Or maybe we get to visit what some of the other dogs' like home life was before they got taken. I don't know. I'm so excited. Like, oh, it's so good. Oh,
that's
my goodness.
Awesome.
What about you, Bean? Do you have any super excited things that you're excited for?
Yes. So there's gonna be like a whole, like not just one. The first one is gonna be called The Bone Orchard. And let me see. Let me double check. I have it pulled up so I can double check it. Okay. So the Bone Orchard mythos is like the name of the whole like series of basically like a horror like world that they're setting up, which is going to be from Jeff Lemire or Lemire, whichever one you want to pronounce it as. And like who's, you know, one of my favorites. And so I'm really excited because it's going to have like 5 different, I think it's starting with a graphic novel, and then there's going to be like a 3-part series and a 5-part series and like all this stuff for like the next 2 years. And it's starting this year, like in 2022. So I'm excited for that.
Cool. And I know that's your favorite writer. Have you read his Bloodshot series?
I have not.
So hold on. I have something really cool to show you. Hold on.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's his big name.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love showing that off.
Yeah.
And we're back. Haha.
What I just picked up and just completed, I haven't gotten to read it yet, but Dr. Star from the Black Hammer universe, like I just picked up like that little mini series, so that's probably gonna be the next thing I read from him. So
that's gonna be so dope.
Yeah. The perks of working in a comic store. So.
Yes, because we all work together in the same comic store here in South Texas, a little place called Space Cadettes.
All right, what about you, Shanice? What are you looking forward to?
Well, the one I'm looking forward to is actually coming out in a few weeks, and it's going to be Saga, because it's been doing this for a couple years.
Saga!
So that's mainly the big one I'm looking forward to. It'll be nice to actually like check my pool box and see Saga.
Yeah.
In physical format, in single issue, like my hands again.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I think the thing I'm really looking forward to is just reading like, you know, Brian K. Vaughan's like, you know, letters at the end of the issue. Because I'm kind of curious to see like what he'll talk about and what he'll tease and things like that. And something else I'm looking forward to in 2022. It's not a new series. It's actually a reprint of a older run that's, well, up until next year, it's very hard to get your hands on. And instead of O'Neill's Question run, it's coming as a big omnibus.
Ooh.
So I'm like, oh, finally, I don't have to drop like over $100 on like a first volume of this print that started this run that really wasn't printed a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I think those are my 2 big ones for next year.
So the second one, what's that one about?
The Question. So the Question, he's an interesting character. Like I'm sure. Like, have you guys watched like the Justice League cartoon from New York Kids?
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay.
It's been a long time.
So the question in the cartoon, he was that really kind of quirky, like detective character who didn't have a face. So in the comics, he's not as quirky. He's very zen, and he's the hero to a city called Hub City. The thing about Hub City, it's like it makes Gotham look like Disneyland.
Oh my
That's how
god.
bad the city
Wow.
is. To the
God.
point that something happens at the end of the run where you don't really blame the question for what he does, because it's just genuinely just an awful place. But it's a really
Walk
good.
away. All you have to do is walk away.
A little bit, yeah. But it's such a good run because like it's very zen. Again, it's very zen. It's very philosophical. It's a really good mystery detective to see him doing doing his thing.
Mhm.
And Dennis O'Neil, he's one of my favorite writers. And to me, I think this run is like his magnum opus. I know people may disagree with me on that, but I'm just so excited to see it like reprinted because I've always loved it, but it was just so hard. It's just super expensive to really track down and to really like own it. So
Yeah.
It looks like I'm gonna have to visit the library of Shanice now.
yeah.
Pick it up and be like, okay, what do you want to trade so we can each read some?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think between the three of us, we'll have like a very extensive comic library.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was actually last night. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. I am gonna read all the comics in my to read short box because I have an entire short box that is my to read. I was like, I'm gonna at least make a good dent in this. And then I started looking at them and I was like, well, I should just like put them in order, right? I need to at least like organize them, like get my series together. I've got it, like, you know. And then it was 3 hours later. And then I had alphabetized every comic I own. And I hadn't read anything.
Just by alphabet.
I completely did it by alphabet now because now that I've started getting like so many different, like especially since like I've lived around here like at like working at Space Cadettes, even before that, like before I worked there when I was a customer, we carry so many different indie companies. I was like, it's lost. It's a lost cause. Like I've just got to go by title. Like we're not organizing. I'm not organizing by company anymore. So
we have such a huge, like Miss Jen loves supporting the local small, just everybody, that she's actually like backed a couple of people's Kickstarters just so she can get the comics. I was talking to so we is kind of a big announcement at the store. We're going to be one of only 3 stores in the entire country that's now going to be carrying stuff by a tiny publisher named Bad Bug.
Bad Bug.
Yes. So I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about this series. You may have, called Pocus Hocus.
Oh, yeah.
With the bunny. Well, they got in touch with Miss Jen, and so yeah, they're sending her a bunch of stuff. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for them. And they've literally, I think they put out like 3 or 4 stories, and it's been all through Kickstarter. And now it's going to be really cool to see them have a place where it's like gonna be somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And Miss Jen's so cool. Our store, like, I love that she does doing that.
Yeah.
I really do. Plus, it gives us so much to read.
Yeah. I actually like talking about things that like we're looking forward to next year. I think the only Kickstarter I've ever backed for a comic book, like, but I love the writer so much, and I was like looking up his info, and then it was like, oh, I'm running a Kickstarter, and then I think that I should get those this next year. And oh man, I can't remember the name of the book. I'll look it up like when we're on break, but it's about beekeeping, but it's also about crime.
Oh, I think you did talk about this.
Yeah. So I should be getting it in, and then I'll like bring my Kickstarter copies into the store and like share them with you guys.
Yay! I love it. I actually brought my Hocus Pocus number 1 and number 2. Miss Jen's reading them right now. We'll have to put you guys next, and it's the ones with the bunnies on the cover on it, so it's super excited.
Oh,
with the what now?
The bunnies are on the cover.
Oh man.
I love rabbits, and I don't know if you guys know that.
Yes. I know that now.
And I did, so back when I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, most of my preteen and teenage years, I was the top rabbit breeder in my Tri-County area for 4-H. People would come to me because I had good papers on them, and they always did really well in fairs and stuff. At one point, I had over 300 rabbits.
That's a lot.
So yes, my first one ever, his name was Thumper. He was a dwarf lop-eared champagne color, and we didn't actually set him loose. There was this preserve out in Cut and Shoot. Yeah, so they had like tigers and jaguars and stuff like that out there, and it was a preserve. It was completely like cool. I got to help the South American puma, whose name was Deacon, and every single day he never missed an episode of Days of Our Lives. Not a single episode. This ton puma would come up to you at like 30 minutes before his show and just like paw.
Man.
Hold on, let me get the TV. Or if it was raining outside, we would take him in and he would just plop on the floor and just wait for it. And he used to suck his thumb too. And that was because when he was a baby and he first came to the preserve, he would claw at our pants or our legs trying to get his bottle. As he got older, we would just stick his thumb in his mouth, like, suck your thumb while we get your bottle ready. As he got older, he would just go,
the baby.
Like, deal with people. And we're like, dude, same. I'll have to take you guys out there sometime. They're still out there. There's still tigers and there's still panthers out there. Nice. And they act like big dogs because they're raised with Lefty is the one who owns the bajillion acres that this is all on, and he started off with raising weenie dogs.
Oh,
so all of these giant wild cats are raised along weenie dogs, and the weenie dogs think they're giant, and the cats think they're a little lapdog. It's great. I love it. K-Lyle is one of the biggest in captivity cats in North America. And he will bring you the ball that weighs more than probably all three of us together and just look at you waiting.
Oh, my goodness.
What am I supposed to do with this? Got a little off topic. Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry. But I was thinking, are there any series that started in 2021 that you guys have been following that you're like are going to end in 2022? That you're like looking forward to like finding out the end? I think I was thinking of it because like I've been reading The Human Target and I'm so excited like to see like the end of that story because like I said, it's like the Human Target, like who's like I don't know, would you consider him a superhero or like just a guy?
Like an anti-hero maybe?
Kind of, yeah. So he is a superhero and like he gets poisoned in the very first comic and he literally has 12 days to live and it's a 12-issue series. So each one is another day. Like he's trying to solve his own murder before he dies.
So kind of like how 24 where each episode's only an hour. This is going to be each comic is a day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so it's on number 3 right now. So it's like really starting to get into the meat of the story and like all these like weird different characters. And I got to meet Booster Gold, who's running a bagel shop. Like I said, that was what I sent you a little like picture of his slogan for his bagel shop.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. We could put that up, but it's yeah. But I'm so excited to find out like who tried to kill Lex Luthor and then killed him instead by accident. So, but yeah, do you guys have any of those that you're like excited to see the end of?
Kind of. So I don't know if you guys have heard, Scotty Young announced it on his Instagram page that he's bringing back Gert for I Hate Fairyland.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's just going to do it all in one year
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's kind of what I'm excited about, but I don't know if it's going to end this year.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we literally know nothing. We just know it's I hate Fairyland. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, I want them never to end. That's my thing. I just want them to keep going. Like, can we just keep going? Like, yeah, I want to know how it ends, but at the same time, don't actually like end.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, oh, I know what's ending. Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see how that storyline's gonna like wrap up. I think that'll be really cool to see. Because we've seen it's a whole different side. Because it's not actually it's not Clark Kent's Superman. It's his son, Jonathan Kent, and you know we're seeing he's a completely different Superman, still saving people, but you know he has his own life. He has his own significant other. He has his own like everything, and a lot of people are expecting him to be exactly the same, and he's not. So. I'm really excited to see how that's if we're gonna meet any new characters.
Yeah.
Any more new characters. Because we met a couple. What about you?
You know, honestly, I'm not really sure because I want to say the books I'm currently reading now they're all like ongoing, so I hope that they don't end like next year because that'd be kind of bad. But well, I guess depending if they finish with the story, but honestly, off the top of my head, I couldn't really tell you like any miniseries I started for a couple of hours this year, and next year. So
there's have you been doing Devil's Reign?
Devil's Reign. So I actually for was it a Daredevil? I actually wait for the trades.
Okay.
Single issues they sell out really fast. And
yes.
Then, at that point on pull list, it's just like can't do it right now. But I know Devil's Reign. I'm looking forward to reading it.
Yeah.
So again, I don't really have one.
Yeah, that's why it was on my mind was because issue 2 came out this week. It was one of the ones we did get in our shipments, and it was literally like it was sold out so fast. Like, yeah, it was. People are going crazy for it. So
definitely,
just one of those.
I can't even I don't want any of them to end. Like, I hope they don't get. If it has a good story ending, just like Shanice said. Like, if it's a good story end, then yeah, but don't do what you do with Harley Quinn like a year and a half ago. Okay, we're on issue 74. It's a great one that leaves on a cliffhanger, and then 75 comes out, and it's announced as the last issue, and it's literally just Harley Quinns from all over the universe just come to roast Harley Quinn, and you're like, what? No, like you have to finish your storyline first. Yeah. Although I did love it. I did really enjoy it because in there's a slime Harley Quinn and there's a Sailor Moon Harley Quinn and there's all these different ones, and it was so cool. If you get a chance, you should definitely there's this one image, it's across 2 pages where it's literally just a whole room full of different Harley Quinns. We might be able to put up a picture or two here, but yeah.
So I actually just thought of one as I was finishing up Batman the Imposter. I forgot that was a series. But yeah, when that wraps up, it's really good. I don't know why I thought it was ongoing. I genuinely thought it was because I would love for it to be an ongoing series, but I forgot it was limited.
Yeah,
it's a crazy book.
I think it has one more, because I think it's 4 chapters or 4 books or whatever they're calling it. So,
I think something like that. 4 or 5, 6,
something.
7, 8, 9, 10, 100. I heard 100.
A number.
100.
Just a small series of 100 books.
This is a small mini series.
Yeah. See, I have that's one of my big things. I don't want good things to end. But at the same time, I do not mind when things are short because I want to have all of things. If I buy one of a series, as a single issue. I want to have all of them. That's like, like that's what I want. So like that's why a lot of times I don't actually collect ongoing series, because I get overwhelmed by the idea of like, I can't get 1,000 detective comics. Like that's never gonna happen. Maybe one day I will. Like I always thought that that'll be like my retirement project. I'll be like, to get all of the Iron Mans or something like that,
Now, which Iron Man? Are you talking about Invincible Iron Man or like Iron Man?
It would be all of them.
Oh, wow.
That would be my quest. So if like Comic Book Shopping Network and stuff and like the Experience shows are like still around, I'll be on there like 70 years old, like claim Iron Man 67,
And then you wouldn't get it because you typed in claim.
Oh, that's true.
Be sitting there like preset, like having your great grandkids. Oh, I need you to type it in faster.
And we won't even be typing by then. It'll just be like direct feed from my brain into the computer.
Hopefully, if no apocalypses happen, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So I do have a question for you guys, but I think we're going to have to do it right after break. So while I stew in my great and magnificent question for them, we will be right back.
They say it, and it's true, that everything is getting faster. You're not getting any younger, and time is the single resource that you can never get back or get any more of. So why walk into your local comic shop blind when you can go in laser focused on the best books on the shelf?
Hi everybody, and welcome to Minute to Skim It. Yeah!
Spend 1 hour with Miss Jen and Bean, and they'll give you rapid-fire reviews of all the new comics hitting stores. Spend less time shopping and more time reading.
This is Provenance of Secrets.
This is The Heathens. I read Wolverine number 17.
Minute to Skim It, every Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Jenna and Bean and Shanice, and we're from the Space Cadettes, and we're back. Hi. So, before we broke for commercial, a magnificent, huge question popped into my mind, and now I really want to know what you guys would think. So, we were talking about apocalypses, right?
Mm-hmm.
What comic book apocalypse do you think you guys could survive?
That's a good one. Do you have one in mind while we're like thinking?
So I think I would not survive any of them, but I think my best bet would probably be like the Marvel zombies. I feel like I could survive that just based off the fact of like my small town living. in South Texas, I think we would be okay until at least the superheroes decided to eat us. Then we might be a little messed up.
Yeah.
Then we might be just a little bit messed up. Just a little bit. But I think for the first half of that, I think I could survive that. I don't know why. Marvel Zombies. Plus, in Marvel Zombies, you got to keep a little bit of like yourself in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like us down here, like, oh, got bit. Time to die.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Any ideas?
I'm trying to think, like, of course, like the main apocalypse, because I just read the brand new Swamp Thing Green Hell that came out, and like that one is like global warming is like caused like all the oceans to rise, and people are stuck on basically like this tiny island, and like I don't know if I would survive that one because I can't swim, and like if anybody got mad at me on the island, like they would just put me in the ocean, like I don't know if I would survive. I don't know. But I don't know if I would survive that one. That's like the one first in my mind. But I think I have pretty good survival skills for most stuff. So,
I know for sure the three of us, we would all survive animosity. But I'm not sure if that's really apocalyptic.
What is animosity? Is that where I know it has to do with the animals? So.
Yeah, so all the animals instantly become like human intelligence level smart. They can talk, they can think, and they remember what we did to them.
Oh.
Yeah, so you'll see deer with like grenades in their antlers, or you see mice dressed up and they're like, yeah. It's so good. It's wrapped up, it's finished. There's I think there's 2 or 3 trades of it. And then there's one side trade for side storyline.
Yeah.
I think they have it in one big omnibus right now.
Okay.
We have it at the store. But yeah, I just feel like all three of us, with how much we love our animals and stuff like that, I think we would be able to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Doug would help me out. He would vouch for me. So,
Everybody go to Bean's house for the animals.
Oh man, I would love that. Like if Doug, because like, can they talk? Can they like tell you? Okay, because like I want to know where Doug was before like I adopted him. Like, are we beefing with somebody? Like, I can get in the car. Like, we can go find them. Like,
Oh, somebody hurt you a couple years back. Let's go. That's my job, is to find people. I can do this.
Yeah,
got you. What about you, Shanice? Is there any apocalypses that that you think we could survive? Or at least you could survive?
Yeah. Not sure if it counts, but I'm gonna say it counts. But I guess My Last Man, which could you consider it to be like a post-apocalyptic comic or whatever?
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of goes to crap. I like to think that I would survive it, but knowing how I can be a little bit confrontational sometimes, I think I might actually get into it with like an Amazon or something, and then call her dumb, and then she just stabs me. So I don't know how that would realistically last. Not because everything just shuts down, because I'd be bummed that all the guys are like dead. Well, some guys or whatever, but like
yeah.
And I think just knowing me, I wouldn't be taken out by like an airplane like crashing. Well, hopefully, but just be fighting like a random Amazon, just getting it's like an argument over just. But I don't know.
Yeah.
How much butter goes into stew?
Huh?
Fight you.
What's that?
You would be fighting somebody with how much butter goes into gumbo or stew?
Oh gosh, no.
When I read that, I did have that thought of like, if this happened, I would be like, I would do okay, I think. Like, as long as, like, said something crazy didn't happen or I didn't run across the wrong person. Just because, like, for the last year, I've been the only, like, either the only or only one of 2 women in my STEM classes at college. So, like, I have some skills and some knowledge that, like, unfortunately, that pipeline's leaking, you know, like other women are not getting that knowledge. So I was like, oh, like I could help, you know, like I know a thing or two. So yeah. But we would all technically survive the initial apocalypse of that for sure.
I don't know. I feel like we would be just fine. I've got roofing and plumbing experience. We've all three of us have some sort of like military in our background. You actually being military, the two of us being military kids, like I think we would be. I think the only people that would take us out is us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo.
Yeah, especially if someone tries to put butter in gumbo, it's like, what's wrong with you? Starts scrapping on sight.
And then I would have your back being like, let's go.
The real mystery is how Yorick survived so long. Like reading that comic, like that was the main thing. I was just like, how is this man still alive? Like like every like I'm just like, would you just sit still?
Yeah. I look at Jay. I look at my husband Jay and I'm just like, he's a home buddy. But there's every once in a while. It's like, don't do that. Just stay. I know for sure my brother wouldn't survive at all. Like, because he can't stay home for a day. So
yeah.
Well, that's out. Oh no.
No.
Oh no. Shanice? Shanice giving us a look?
No.
Is there no look there?
There's a look. Producer just. I'm not gonna do any shenanigans. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. You said it. I love it.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Have either of you guys read I'm thinking of two of them where it's like crazy like robot apocalypse, which is the manga which also got turned into a movie of Blame, where it's pronounced like blam, like exclamation point, but spelled like blame.
I feel like I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, that one's really good. And then also there's the Godzilla, like where the mecha Godzillas take over the Earth, and then everybody has to go get on a spaceship and like launch off into space, like.
I don't think I'd survive that one.
I love that one because that is like there's literally like a Godzilla and they're like, you know what? Let's build some robot Godzillas. And then they literally just like, this isn't what happened, but like they basically just like lose the remote to them. And then they're like, well, time to give up and fly into space. Like, you know, that anime is very crazy. But yeah, I don't know if I would. I think I would definitely survive in like we have to get on the spaceship and blast off scenario, you know.
Like, I have some questions. Like, do I get to take my Hanpopo?
I don't know.
That's a key deciding factor. If I can't go with Hanpopo, I'm going to take my chance with the Mecha Godzillas. I'm not going to survive. But
So there's a comic that came out this last year called The Last Flight Out, and that apocalypse is like basically because of like climate change, like everything is destroyed, like martial law, and I know for a fact none of us would survive that one because only rich people could get on the planes and like fly away. There's like 5 like arc ships, and like the whole plot of it, which would be such a good movie because it's like the whole plot of it is like this scientist guy who like spent his whole life like prioritizing building these arc ships and completely ignoring his daughter, like is like, oh, like she'll come and be on the last arc ship, and she doesn't show up, and then he's like, what? And then he goes and tries to find her and everything. So it's good. It's like father-daughter like relationships.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of a movie. It had John Cusack in it. 2012? Is that what it was that had those giant arc ships too? Arc ships. It did, because it also, oh my gosh. Yeah, because
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to remember.
I was gonna say, this is sound weird, but did it have like an Ada Lambert song playing at the end? I might be thinking. I know it's weird, but it was some sort of post-apocalyptic movie that had giant ships too. I think.
I don't know what that one is.
Okay, so we need everybody to look these up, and we'll discuss it next time.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But so another thing like that I've been kind of thinking about is, so you know, like the comic crossover,
I love that.
and like it's like the idea is like that like superheroes and like things from comic books start coming into our world.
Yeah.
But like here's my question is like, if you could go into a comic world, which one would you want to go into? Like, where would you want to go live?
Like, am I myself, or am I like a henchman? Am I a civilian? Am I a hero? Am I just me?
I think it could depend. Like, I was kind of imagining just like myself, but it'd be kind of fun to be like, you know, I want to live in a, because like if you were to go into the X-Men world, then you could be a mutant. Yeah. Like you could have powers then.
Well, I mean, if you go into the X-Men universe, and that's also the Marvel universe, so are you a superhero or are you a mutant? I have questions.
And it's like, it also depends, because you might end up having like a really crappy like mutation, like you just shoot out like grape jelly every time like you
Hey,
sneeze.
that is a great mutation. You would be my bestest of friends.
Every time like you sneeze though, like you just sneeze like achoo, just like jelly just shoots out everywhere, and it just hits every person that you love and care about. Like, what if you're at like a what if you're at like a funeral and you sneeze and you just shoot jelly all over, just all over the coffin? Like, that would suck. And then you have to run because you're being chased because you're a mutant. I'm sorry.
Oh my god,
that escalated very quickly, and I love it.
Sorry.
That would be horrific, and it's a good argument.
Make about that now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, but it's part of the boys' universe.
If I think I would want to go into like the Hellboy universe, because I love Hellboy, and like I love the BPRD, and I would just love like, and I would love any world where like there's actually like weird supernatural stuff, and I could go like investigate it, you know, like. And
I'm surprised you're not a paranormal investigator here.
I know. I do. I watch a lot of content, but like I'm not a ghost hunter in this world.
That we know of.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, I don't know.
We don't know what you do on Sundays.
This is true.
That is true. But also, okay. I don't have giant guns and Hellboy to back me up. So that's very different, you know, like, so yeah, if I could go hang out and like the first Hellboy movie where there's just like that random FBI agent that gets assigned, like that's who I would want to be.
Yes, but then you ended up in the Antarctic in the second movie.
But I've always wanted to go to Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
And you know, penguins.
Yes.
Yetis.
Yetis and penguins.
And the frozen Nazis.
Even better.
What kind of frozen Nazis? Are they frozen zombie Nazis, or are they just like frozen Nazis? And then, follow-up question. What is worse, a Nazi, zombie, or just like Nazi? Like, if it's a zombie eats a Nazi, do they become Nazi zombies or just Nazis? That's not what we're here to talk about.
What is that from? Is that from something like, because I feel like I've heard that question before.
I've been asking it half my life.
Okay. It might have just been straight from the source.
In the warehouse before.
Yeah.
With all three of us. And you can ask my husband, you can ask my brother. I talk about it all the time because I personally cannot figure this out scientifically or comically. I can't figure it out. But that is literally like, that is my 8.5 foot wide shark plus flippers type of day. And that is, how did they lose that in the ocean? Okay. My universe is that the Valiant universe. I really would like maybe not in the time of like War Mother and Ryan, the 4001 AD era, but sort of like maybe in the Divinity era. Not during the Stalinverse era, but like in the main, just like if I was just a regular, just me, probably working in a comic book store in that universe, and you'd be like, oh, look, there's the random immortal brothers. Bye. Don't come back. Goodbye. Or like, oh, hey, look, there's a flying blonde chick. Hi. Like, I feel like that would be, and then if you wanted to try to see if you had superpowers, it's a test that you could die from, but like if you have to weigh the options, and then I would probably just like not do the test. I would just continue being me. And just wave at Faith every time she came by, because I love Faith. Or I would, go out to Louisiana, out into, the swamps to go visit family, and just happen to see Shadow Man. And I'd be like, cool, thanks for saving us from the dead side. You want some gumbo? And then like that would be the extent. Like I feel like I could survive that world if I was just me. Now if I was like a henchman, like if I was like going to be like the sort of like not so good side, I would probably pick DC, and I would probably work for LexCorp. Because I feel like they got great benefits. Yeah. Like insurance and stuff, like if that's the route that I had to go, like if I got sucked in, like crossover does, where they just kind of suck you in and you're just like, well, I don't technically exist here, so I can't get a job for real, or I can't I don't have a social security card, I don't have an ID, I don't have any of that. I'm like, hey, LexCorp, can I be a henchman for you? And I would love to sign up for benefits, and can you help me become a person of this universe? I exist, I promise. I'm somewhere else. Please don't experiment on me. Like that'd be my biggest thing. If I ended up in like DC or Marvel or even some of the Image universes, they would be like, oh, it's somebody else from another universe. We must experiment. And like, no, please, no. No.
Oh man.
Please don't experiment with me.
I don't know what like bad guy I would want to be a henchman for. Like now I'm thinking about that. Like
well, first, before we find out that, let's see. Shanice, what about you? What's a universe you would like to just slide into?
Universe I would just like to slide into. Honestly, DC or Marvel. If I live in the DC universe, I would love to live in Gotham. Because rent, listen, hear me out.
Okay.
Rent would be so cheap. Because no one wants to live in Gotham. They want to live in a safer, quote unquote, safer cities. Rent would be like $300 a month.
For a shoebox?
Is very cheap rent. And the culture of Gotham, I'm sure they have a really lovely jazz scene. The cons, Joker might hold you hostage in a bank, which I think is a fair trade-off. It's a fair trade-off. Because of how high rent is.
Coming out of the theater and just get shot. You're somebody else's origin story if you end up in Gotham. Do you know that? You're somebody else's origin story. Just you being there. Either you're going to get experimented on, or you are somebody's origin story.
I'm going to be just like a random person, just mind my business, going to work, and then and it's like in my other answer too. Because I will live in the Marvel universe, because you can never technically be late for work. You can tell your boss like, oh, I got held up at Starbucks because I don't know, Rhino decided to just have a fight with Spider-Man on my way to work. So you can have so many excuses, cheap rent, excitement.
Excuses can be seen on the news. Like your boss will be able to check on it.
No, I can tell. I look on my phone and just reuse the same images of the same fight that I would hope record.
Of course, you're recording the fights instead of running.
As I'm running and recording.
Okay. So just
you can do both. You never recorded and walked and ran.
No, because if I'm running from something. I'm
No,
not-
I would just. I'm just.
I'm gonna run and have an excuse for my boss and tell like, hey, Batman saved my life. It's all blurry. You see that little piece of green hair? No, that's not the barista. That is Joker, man. So those are my answers. Excitement and cheap brands with Marvel DC.
So you slide into this universe, and barring you don't get picked up for experiments for coming from somewhere else, and barring that you don't become Gwenpool, which is everybody knows the premise of Gwenpools, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's from our universe and she got sucked into Marvel, and her superpower is she knows everybody's secrets. Just in case anybody didn't know. Barring as those two options don't happen. Third option is your third option here is that you just go to work and record fights.
Because I go to work and record fights. I'm saying like I'm sure that of all the crazy things that have happened in both Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
Some rando pink-haired person coming out of nowhere from a different universe, they'll be like, they'll just kind of look at me like, oh. And they'll just go about their business. Because every day, especially in Gotham, they had to deal with a man dressed up as a bat with a whole group of people with other animal motifs.
Yeah.
I would be such an afterthought, dude. Like,
yeah, okay.
So happy. I could, in Gotham, they have some really sketch landlords. If I can find a way to get some really cheap money, get some money, I'd be set. Like, oh, cool. I have like a Riverview lot for $300 a month. Oh, someone died here. I don't care. I'll take it. I will gladly.
Somebody died everywhere here.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone dies.
They're all unalived. Every single unit in this building, somebody has unalived because the Riddler said a thing and. Yeah,
it was a clue. This entire complex.
The top four were the most people unalived. Let's go. And then in the Marvel universe, you'd somehow make yourself up to Queens, so that way you could see Daredevil. You'd be like, "Oh, cool! Like 100 people were unalived in this room. Then totally, I got it. Oh, look, Daredevil."
Hey. But I would be a little bit scared to see Daredevil because I know what happens to women that hangs out around Daredevil.
Well, you're not hanging out.
I would admire from afar, like, oh, cool, Daredevil, and then just keep my distance.
And you can do your running with your phone recording method again. You'll just get really good at it and be like just running.
Running and like a slight selfie, like, hey, it's Daredevil, and just run back. So if I somehow end up back in this universe, I can just be like, hey, you see that blurry red shape? That's actually Daredevil. That's Spider-Man. Well, it's somebody. I don't know. I was running and shooting. They were also running and shooting. So it works out.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we've kind of descended into something. Where would you be a henchman, Shanice? Where would you be a henchman at?
Well, not Joker. Like that's the part.
Well, of course. I feel like that's a given.
I feel like if I had to be a henchman, like for anybody, would you consider like working? Do you think like the Lex Luthor that he has henchmen?
Yes, definitely. All the scientists and everybody that works in the building.
Yeah, I feel like you would have like some really cool benefits. That's why I would
love to work. I would love to work as a henchman for Lex Luthor because there's insurance and 401k and like stock options.
Like the only bad thing is you would disappoint Superman, but it's like whatever.
Okay, I'm disappointed.
Vision insurance like outweighs that.
Like, dude, I have good insurance. I get a steady paycheck, and I have a 401k plus dental.
There you go.
Can't even get a good dental here.
Yep.
And
you have to look at benefits.
I'm going for the benefits. I'm sorry, Superman, but if you got a job for me that's gonna pay me and give me those benefits plus stock options, we'll discuss this. But for now,
it's like, what can you offer for me at the Fortress of Solitude? Like honestly, like Lex has all these things.
Horrible commute, actually.
Thank you.
And apparently zombie Nazis. So
zombie Nazis. Or just like And you know, all three of us would be working at LexCorp. Bean would be a scientist.
Oh
I'd be a
no,
math
I wouldn't
physicist.
want to work for
You
Lex
would,
Luthor.
you would be the management, like.
Do something.
No, I would want to go work for Doc Ock as just like an underpaid lab assistant. Like just like working on his like big tentacle arms.
Working for Oscorp instead of LexCorp.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I
Man.
would do.
I wonder how expensive a phone call would be interdimensional. I'm getting
don't know.
old, aren't I?
If you work for Lex, it'd be super cheap.
I know, right? I
Yeah.
bet they have one. That's one of the benefits.
Interdimensional phone calls.
Oh man.
Talk to Reed Richards, he knows.
Ooh, I could actually see you working at the Future Foundation, Bean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would get
Wait.
benefits and paid and be working as a lab intern. Because
Perfect.
interns here don't get paid.
Yeah.
Interns there probably make bank because all the superheroes know that at any moment a villain can pop in. And you know what LexCorp's like employee manual would probably say? Run away. Run away. We backed it all up on the system. Just run away. It's in the cloud.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Future Foundation would probably be the same way. It'd be like, hey, look, a villain comes in, run away.
Yeah.
Y'all back in the cloud. We're good. Don't need to save your life over an experiment. Gosh. But yeah, I think we make great henchmen in superhero world.
Yes. I do kind of think that like if I went into another like comic book universe, I would just try to like recreate my life because like I like my life right now. So it's just like I hope they have comic book stores so I could like get a part-time job at. Like
I know for sure Marvel does. DC does.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just like recreate my life just wherever I went, and then just be like, kind of like Shanice is doing. Like she's just chilling in Gotham. I'd just be like, cool. We got new space technology to work on, you know?
And that's where I think you would become a supervillain.
I don't think I would be a supervillain.
You'd be working at the comic book store, but you would need the money and the benefits.
Oh no.
Getting a LexCorp. You would need the money for your space experiments and for your new space stuff. And so you would use the knowledge that you have from the phone calls from our interdimensional calls to be like, okay, cool. Let's destroy you guys. Take the money so I can make a portal to go have a beer with my friends.
I don't think I would be a supervillain. I don't think so. But, you know, we'll see if we ever do reverse crossover and get sucked into the comic book world. So, oh my goodness. All right. Well, with that, I think it's time for me to go get working on my interdimensional portal. That I am not becoming a supervillain over. Although I think, oh crap, that's what all the supervillains say, isn't it? They're like, I'm not the villain. I'm a scientist.
As long as you have benefits, you have two henchmen right here.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to be it for us this week. This has been Space Cadets with me, Bean, and Jenna, and Shanice. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.